Time I'd like to call the April 7th regular county council meeting to order. This time I'd like to all rise. Miss Gracie Floyd will lead us in invocation and pledge allegiance.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to ask that I'll be allowed to keep my seat.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to ask Mr. Allen if he would lead y'all in prayer.
That's fine. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Allen?
Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the many blessings upon us. Guide us this evening as we conduct this test in Henderson County. Staff too, watch over those members of our armed services and protect this very troubled world that we live in. We ask these things in Christ's name.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. This time, moving on to item number 3, approval of minutes. Are there any changes or corrections to be made to the March 17th, 2015 meeting?
Yes, sir, I have one.
Mr. Crowder?
Just let me make sure my phone's on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. All right, on page 48, line 41 of the minutes, I would like for you to change and says, last year raises that must be carried forward in fiscal year 16 budget is around $600,000 in general funds alone. That's it. I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Ms. Wilson?
On page 42, line 40, it's Mr. Allen said want to extend, question mark, and it was with a T instead of a D. And on page 54, lines 22 and 23, the reference is to Mr. Garnett Hanley. Spelled his name.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to make those changes, show of hands. Opposed, like sign, so the motion carries. Dansley showed that Ms. Crowder made the motion, Ms. Wilson second. Moving on, next item on the agenda. Ms. Floyd, do you have a guest you wanted to introduce tonight?
Yes, my guest works for Boeing out of Colorado or somewhere, and he left a note today to let me know that he was called Austin for an unscheduled meeting at the Boeing plant. So he won't be here today. We'll do it the next time.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item number 4, citizens' comments. Please, as Mr. Harmon calls your name, please step forward, state your name and district, address the chair. This is not, I repeat, not a town hall meeting. It's not a question and answering session, so just make your remarks to the chair. Mr. Harmon.
Mr. Chairman, there's one citizen signed up, Elizabeth Fant.
Thank you, sir.
Elizabeth Fant, District 3. Again, about the agenda. I see that on number 7, request to speak before council concerning airport noise. Here's the document sheet. But for number 5 and 6, report on farmers market, report from Walker Farm, there is no documentation. As I said before, anything that comes into this agenda needs some sort of backup documentation. No matter who's doing it, whether it's a council person, a citizen, we need documentation. Otherwise, I can get up here and talk about whatever. I do want to talk about the farmers market, however. Our farmers market has progressed way beyond what it was back all the way in 2006. It has improved immeasurably. I believe Mr. Glenn Brill is over the staff for who provides for the farmers market, which is anyway, some of his staff interface and are out there and make sure everything's going right and everybody has what they need. The farmers market is a jewel for Anderson County. I know also that Mr. Tommy Dunn in the past has given some of his money to promote it, whether it be signs telling people about the upcoming dates and so forth, which I think is really good. Those of you that are not going to the farmers market are really missing out. We all need to be eating more fresh. We need to be eating local. That helps the economy. And the farmers market could use some other new people. I might even do it this year, depending on my own personal crop. But it is a jewel, and everybody needs to go to that. I never see any of you council people there.
Ooh.
So come.
Anyone else, Mr. Harmon? Okay. Moving on, I felt a little housekeeping. Item number 10A, ladies and gentlemen, has been pulled. That's the subdivision of Bailey Creek. 10A has been pulled from the agenda. At their request. We'll be moving on. Item number 5, report on the farmers market, Mr. Lewis Keeler. Keeler?
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Anytime I get to speak on behalf of the farmers market, I'm glad to do it. I'm glad for what Ms. Fant had to say. I want you to think of the Anderson County Farmers Market tonight in a different way. I want to just tell you kind of about me. I am a local farmer. I've been going to the farmers market for the last 40 years. I started out as a high school student to make supplemental income. And that's how I started out. And now I have a son. He's 18 years old. He runs my stand at the market. Don't know how it promotes individualism. And we have a lot of farmers today. We had a meeting, growers meeting this morning. And I was going to tell you, we had 2 farmers there with 80 years old. If that don't tell you dedication to the Anderson County Farmers Market, I don't think there is. But these 2 guys are 80 years old on Social Security, and they come to the farmers market to make supplemental income. And they've raised great families in Anderson County. They've really done a lot of things, and I want you to look at the farmers market a different way today. The way I want you to look at it is we have a lot of farmers. For instance, my farm, I usually pick up 3 to 4 young men to help pick produce. I've got a brother, and we've usually represented at the market. I've got 5 or 6 guys that income is coming from the market. I will say this to you, most farms there probably have 3. Usually when our barn is full, we have 20 to 24 farmers there. Out of the 20 to 24, if you multiply that times 3 or 4, you're looking at 80, 90 to 100 people that's represented there. And I want you to think about this. That's a business that comes to Anderson every year after year that's loyal. And a lot of times in the past, I'm going to say this to you, Mr. Dunn and Mr. Crowder, y'all have represented us. That's who we get funds from. And they have really helped us. We couldn't carry on with the market if it wasn't for them. And we need some others. In other words, Glenn Brill's staff, Sharon, she's a heck of a lady. But she needs some funds when we're for advertisement. Sometimes it gets slow for the farmers, and we need to pick it up when the pace needs to be picked up. I've been working with United Way. They're going to give us a little funding this time. We don't know how much, They starting off kind of in a slow way. It's a 3-year program. They're good. They've already started. We in Barnwell County. They're doing a let's go to the farmers market. We need a push for it. I need some funds for advertisement. I need it for tote bags. I need it for fans. We want to send fans out to the churches to state the farmer market times, hours, days. And the biggest problem we've probably had at the farmers market, a lot of our older crowd has died out. And now the younger crowd is not coming like you would think. And we need to get to these people. We want them to go through the schools. United Way is going to help us to go through the schools. They've told me the other day, I made mention to them that it sure would be nice if we gave out just a little dollar coupon to the kids in the schools. They said they would use their funding to give the kids a $1 coupon to come to the farmers market. And they're using their funds to pay for this fund to pay the farmer. But we're trying to do different things, different ways to get people to the market. And we need every person we can get to get there. And mainly, I need your help, because y'all are the backbone. Y'all can help us in so many ways that we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keeler. Moving on to item number 6. Crowder.
All right, thank you, Chairman. It's an honor and a privilege tonight for me to be able to recognize Dr. and Mrs. William Walker. Ms. Walker is a doctor in her own rights. If you go out Highway 81, when you get to about the Bosch plant, you're going to see a sign that says Walker Century Farms. If you're coming in off of 85 going down to Anderson, you're going to see a sign that says Walker Century Farms. As we all know, America for years has been the breadbasket of the nation. It has been the world in many cases. It has been the breadbasket of our state. And I'm so delighted that we have interest in people that Mr. Keesler represents and that you two represent, that want to make sure the public is keenly aware that farming is coming back and you need to buy local. Contrary to what was previously said, I am at the farmers market downtown every Saturday morning, except maybe 1 or 2 when I'm out of town, until it closes at 7:40, because I go before the lights come on and get my groceries, and when the lights come on, I pay and I leave. And I look forward to some homegrown tomatoes. Now, from the Walkers, they sell everything under the sun, but I'm most favorite to their world-class sausage. Not only do I love it, but my children love it every time they come out. So we welcome you. It's your platform. Tell us about yourself so that we may tell the whole world.
I thank you very much for allowing us to be here today, and we thank you for all the support that we've got. I live on my family farm. We live on our family farm that's been in my family for several generations, and farming's in my DNA. But I had a professional life also. And I thought I knew what healthy food was because of my professional knowledge. But my wife Nancy got sick approximately about 10 years ago with a medical illness. And it really gave some soul searching about what is healthy food. And we got into grass-fed beef. We've realized that was a health food if it's done right. We went up and looked at some cows, and Nancy thought, that she liked those cows, which was a blessing in itself to me. We bought 5 heifers, and I thought, I'll be happy for the next 15 years. And I never realized where this would take us. We started having meat that we would sell a half a steer to this person, a half to that. Then Nancy started selling 20 pounds to this person, 20 pounds to that person. And just one thing led to another, and finally she said, I need a place besides the garage to store this meat. And that's how we developed our market. And I'll let Nancy tell her story.
Thank you very much. It's a real privilege to be here and to be allowed to share what has become my passion. I'm retired. I don't really need to do this, but it's a passion, and I guess it's in my DNA, and I have to do it too. But what began as a vision of a place, a site on our farm to store and distribute or sell to customers our frozen meat has become something much more than that. First of all, from just simply practical and safety reasons. This is a highly perishable product. You need to be able to keep it safe and to get it to your consumers in a safe way. So I thought, well, if I had a place, I could sell, maybe a couple of cows a month. And in the meantime, we had also started producing pastured pork and honey. So we thought, well, we'll try to see if we can sell some of that too. And then we realized that there were a lot of other local products. Grits, cornmeal, cheese, fresh milk, of course, obviously all kinds of produce in season. And we thought, well, if we make a place here in our store, then we can sell a wide variety of products so that customers can come and get a variety of quality, nutritious local products in one place. Now and I wanted to say too, I have met a lot of wonderful other local producers since I started doing this. And there is such a tremendous spirit of cooperation amongst the producers to try to help each other, to work with each other. And I'm not trying to compete with the farmers market. There's a place for all of the wonderful farmers markets that are around the upstate area. But we have a dream and a vision, and we have a product that's available year-round, whereas so many of the other produce-type things are not available then. So that's how we started off. Let me just kind of elaborate some of our goals, and coming to this meeting really forced me to define these goals in a better way than I ever had. Well, first of all, to provide local, quality, nutritious food products to local consumers and to those from adjacent states. I have customers, a few, who regularly come from both North Carolina and Georgia to get especially our beef and our pork. Another component of what we're about is to educate consumers about what is healthy food and to enable them also to come out to our farm and see the location where our animals are raised and the conditions under which they are grown. We also provide other producers with an outlet for their products. We sought out other producers, and some of them actually sought us out. And we also are a focal point where a variety of local products can be found in one location year-round. We're open year-round. And
I think part of why we're here is that we are South Carolina certified market. And what does that really mean? That we don't want to be a grocery store. We want to be an agricultural on-farm market for our products. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're asking to help us work with that. That we're not, we're commercial, but the farmers need to have the ability to have on-farm markets.
yeah, one more thing that I overlooked here. Working on our income taxes, I tabulated our sales results from 2014. 83% of our sales were our products, our beef, our pork, and our honey. Another 10 to 15% are other local products. Very few of the products in our market are not from the upstate region of South Carolina.
Thank y'all.
You.
Would We're on item number 7, request to speak before council concerning airport noise and air rights. Norman Kraft. Mr. Kraft.
I want to speak to Mr. Walker just a minute. He saved my wife's life. They didn't expect her to live in the hospital. Did all kind of tests. He was the only doctor that could figure out what was wrong. He brought her out. I want to thank you, brother. Mr. Allen, I want to thank you for that prayer. I mean, when you prayed and said, God bless our country, we need it. We need it. We need it more than ever. I'm a Baptist preacher. I was assistant pastor over at Oakwood Baptist Church for 7.5 years. I started 2 churches and pastored another. And I know what you're talking about. What I want to talk about tonight is this. That you've got a paper up there with pictures on it. Tuesday night last week, I called. Excuse me. I heard a Chinook helicopter coming to the airport. My windows shook in my house. It parked on the runway there. And just a little bit, it revved up. I heard it revving up. So I ran out the back door. I called Miss Floyd. That helicopter did not take off straight forward from the runway or go yonder way. It did that way. It went around. And I looked, and it was coming around here. Then it made a right turn. And the house behind me, if you look on that paper, I'm standing in the backyard looking at that. That helicopter went right over those trees. It went right over those trees. If you'll turn to the second page. This is from the side of that man's house behind me. If you look to the left part of it, that's his house. These palm trees are what he went over. And then the third page, I've got it marked with the red, that he went down through there, right over those palm trees. I took another picture, but it didn't take too good, but I took a picture from this end looking back. On the left are the trees that on my property line. But then that helicopter had to come down and make a right turn to get to the to the runway. I don't understand that. Now, I had a military officer come to my house today. I called Donaldson Air Force Base, told him the situation. He talked to Justin Julian, I believe, out at the airport. But then he said that there was another person with us that's having problems with the noise out there and the eminent domain rights. And he said that he didn't believe that it was anything at all, that pilot made that complete turn purposely. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I mean, he parked on that runway, and then he came around and then turned right to come right over the property behind me. But I found out this, that property, that man, he signed for easement over that property. And he's written that property now. But I called, when that helicopter come over, I had the phone in my hand, and I called you, Gracie Floyd, right? And I said, Miss Floyd, I want you to hear what you voted for. And it was right there, wasn't it? It was right over my property. It shook the windows in my house, but let me tell you the rest of the story. My wife is 78 years old. She's got dementia. She's totally almost blind because of sugar. She's got scoliosis of the back. She's got neuropathy. She was in bed. It was almost getting toward dark. I went in the house. I heard her screaming and yelling. I went into the bedroom there. She was crying. She was shaking like a leaf. She thought the house was falling in. Mr. Dunn, what would you do if somebody threatened your family that way?
Kraft, you might not have heard me earlier. It's not a question and answer time. This ain't a public. This ain't a thing for that.
But I believe I know what you would say. But see, I had to do a lot of praying. I mean, when I saw my wife in that shape, and I believe you'd feel the same way, I had to do a lot of praying from doing anything wrong. I had to do that. So that military officer told me that he was going to do some checking. Maybe, Mr. Burns, you can help. If that pilot had any friends at the airport, were you there last Tuesday night, Mr. Burns? But I don't understand. They've never done that before. But then they made it purpose to come over that man's house right behind me. He ran out of the house. And he said, I wanted to take a picture of it. He's got kids in the house. He wanted to take a picture of it. He said he didn't believe it was over 200 feet high. But that officer said today that they have to be up to 500 feet. Right, Miss Wilson? But then he was lower than that. If he had clipped that wire line, it would have been a disaster. So then that's the reason I come tonight, to present this to you. That those people out there in my section, the one man, you know him, Tommy, Adam McAllister. He lives 8 houses above from where I live on that street. His 2 grandboys said, "Look, Grandpa, you can see the man's face in the helicopter." It was that low. So why did he do that? What's the purpose of it? I think it's intimidation. I think it's harassment. I haven't signed to give you easement. None of it. We're going to court. Going to court. And then also I found out another thing that I presented last time, that they did not put that chimney on my house in the surveyor's drawing, but also they left the 2 crabapple trees out front. They way up above the house. See what I'm saying? Understand what I'm saying? So now what they're doing, they're going to people's houses and they're getting easement over the houses, but they're not telling them anything about the air rights they give up. And one of the main ones is if you sign that easement right, you cannot complain about the noise. I gave Mr. Burns and you last week a Freedom of Information Request Act. And I wanted the names of those people that had already signed easement. And wanted to talk to them, but what I want to do is Miss Wilson and Miss Floyd, you go to these people and ask them if it was explained in any way what air rights they give up. And if the value of the property would drop. And if the noise would increase. And I'm asking you again, Mr. Mayor, to let the people vote. We're passing out a petition on that side now. And the people are signing. They want a vote about the airport. Okay? It will be coming to you. Because from the point on, from that meeting at the airport's been nothing but a lie. They've never told the truth in any way. They've never revealed about the air rights that people give up, the devaluation of the property, the noise increase. They've never said anything like that. So I would appreciate also, Mr. Burns, you've got that Freedom of Information request, those 6 things that I asked you about. When can I get them?
We're not asking questions, Mr. Kraft. I've already asked them. We got attorney address that. If you've given a Freedom of Information request, the attorney will handle it.
Okay, all right. Well, my attorney will be in touch with him.
That's great.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know what the problem is here. I don't know how it started, and I think I know how I got involved in it because I have this overdeveloped sense of fair play and doing the right thing. I was on the telephone with Mr. Kraft when he called. We were talking before that helicopter, whatever it was, came. But the thing was so loud that I couldn't understand nothing he was saying. Somebody asked me, was I sure that it was a helicopter? I can say that I'm 99.5% sure that it was a helicopter. And from what I was listening to, it appears as if that helicopter turned around and came back because it was that loud. It was said at the last meeting that you wouldn't build your house out there in the first place. Well, I think Mr. Kraft was there before the airport got to be what it is now.
52 years ago.
And to allow someone, for us to to sit back and not do anything or not say anything or not give this man full attention of what could be done, and for us not to do any research that will let us do the right thing, whatever we deem the right thing is ludicrous. I can't understand Anderson County doing such a thing. If it were my house and that helicopter had come through my house like that, I would be standing where he is now. But I think I would be a little more upset. It's not fair. It's not right. He was there first. Now, we can't move the airport. We cannot move the airport. We can't make the airport go away. But there are some things that we can do if we would just sit down and talk with this man and see what could be worked out. Mr. Leon, is my time almost up?
Could I say one more thing?
Thank you.
No, they're not going to let us say anything
Could I
else.
say one more thing?
Go ahead, Mr. Kraft. I want you to make sure you get your,
My wife, in the last 3 weeks, had to get treatment for high blood pressure. They did an aorta test at the doctor's office and a cardiogram. She had to go to the hospital to get a renal artery test and also a carotid test. That's what I was concerned about. Her blood pressure has been up at 200. That's what I was concerned about. When I walked in and saw her, I was ready to rip some heads. You know what I mean?
Mr. Chair, I would like to extend this conversation for 2 or 3 more minutes, please. That's in form of a motion.
floor's got a motion to extend 2 or 3 more minutes. We have a second.
So then that's the point of it. I mean, I'm willing to work.
That'd be it. We thank you, Mr. Kraft. Time's expired. Moving on. Ordinance, third reading, 8A 2015-005, a supplemental ordinance to amend ordinance 2014-016 to operating capital budgets of Anderson County for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2014 and ending June 30th, 2015. Have a motion?
Have a motion.
Motion, Mr. Crowder, and second, Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign. So the motion carries unanimously. Moving on, item number 9A, ordinance second reading. Ordinance updating the county roads functional classification list. This will be a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter, please step forward and state your name and district and address the chair. Now we're in a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter, please step forward. Anyone at all? Hearing none, public hearing to be closed. Moving on, Mr. Foreman, you got any comments or things you'd like to add?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to give a quick synopsis of where we're at. This is second reading. As per Section 38-118 of the County Code of Ordinances, all roads in the county are classified on the basis of their traffic carrying capabilities, their general function in the circulation system, and the existing land use of abutting properties. The classification system is based on the concepts and criteria contained in Federal Highway Administration Highway Functional Classification Manual, latest edition being as of 2013. This FHA manual classifies the roads into 3 functional categories, that being local, collector, and arterial, which are also defined in our ordinance. Maximum road capacities are based upon these classifications. What you see in your packet, Exhibit A, is a comprehensive list of all the county-maintained roads and the corresponding functional classes as developed with assistance from the County Roads and Bridges Department, using, once again, the existing county and federal definitions. And Exhibits B through F contain the corresponding maps as broken down by school district. And the last approved road classification list is from 1999 as part of that year's major road study. No comprehensive update to this list has been approved by council since. So this ordinance and attached Exhibits A through F provide the county with an updated unified road classification list. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Mr. Crowder, and second, Mr. Allen. Any discussion, questions, comments? Mr. Foreman? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign, so the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Foreman. We moving on to item 9B, 2015-007, ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of one or more incentive agreements by and among Anderson County South Line and company known to the county as Project Owl. Mr. Burris Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council, Mr. Burns, Mr. Harmon, Ms. Poland. Project Al is a new industry. They are coming to our industrial park. This is a company that's been in business for more than 40 years. It's a family-owned business with their grandsons preparing to take over the business and continue. This project was brought to us by South Carolina Department of Commerce. Their initial job creation, 49 jobs at $15.26 an hour, with an average annual payroll of $1,495,000. Capital investment, $11,125,000. Special source revenue credits over a 20-year period. It's a 6% assessment ratio and a 40-year length of term for the fee agreement. This piece of property in 2014, property taxes paid $8,953. $893. And in 2017, $4,875. 30-year projected $1,809,000. First year community impact is $7.7 million, and 20-year impact is $51,180,000. This information comes to council as a recommendation from staff and the advisory board, and we respectfully request that you give positive consideration to this project.
So moved.
Have a motion, Ms. Wilson. Have a second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Crowder. Any discussion?
Just a quick thank you. It's really good to get family companies. And for Mr. and Ms. Dr. and Ms. Walker, they may have more clients and patrons soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, show of hands. Opposed, like sign, said motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Moving on to item C, 2015-009, ordinance authorizing the sale of certain properties in Alliance Park in accordance with a certain agreement to purchase, sale of land, purchase agreement by and between Anderson County and South Carolina, the county, and the company known to the county as Project Owl. Mr. Burris Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of council. This is the ordinance that allows the county to sell them property that we purchased for the industrial park and the spec building site location. This is for Project Owl.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Motion. Second, Mr. Waters. Do we have any discussion, comments, questions, Mr. Nelson? And then all in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign, so the motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Nelson.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Y'all. Moving on to item number D, 2015-010, ordinance amending Chapter 53 of the Code of Ordinances, Anderson County. That's an add pertaining to the solicitation of funds on county roads and streets, matters related thereto. This will be a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to this matter, please step forward and state your name, district, and address the chair. It'll be a public hearing. Anyone wishing to step forward now, please? You want all? Hearing none, public hearing to be closed. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Allen, second, Mr. Crowder. Any discussion? And all in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign, so the motion carries unanimously. Said item 10A has been removed. Going on to 10B, 2015, I'm sorry. Can we take a short recess?
Yes, sir.
Hearing no objection, we'll have a short recess.